What up, it's TJ. Quick disclaimer before we get into the video. If you supported the no neck man or the mustache man, click off. If you are a normal person, keep watching. But today we're gonna be looking at the time Punisher and Spider-Man fought white supremacists. And just by looking around, I know this was the perfect time to make a video like this. So we start off with a backstory. And all you really need to know is after the Germans lost control, a nurse that believed in all of the Aryan race shit slipped away with 3 kids, 1 boy, 2 daughters. And that's gonna be important to the main villain of the story. But then we pan over to the Punisher. And during this time, he has a man in the chair named Micro. And all he's doing right now is working on the battle van. And yo, why does Punisher look like Batman right now? We're only on the 3rd page, calm down. But he's testing out a new gun on the van. But then we pan over to a group of white supremacists. And the main leader is named Hartman. And he says, today is the day of Hitler's death. This ushered in a new dark age, and he's come to show people the light. And shout out to bro on the right, telling him to get that lame ass shit out of here. But then we pan over to Peter Parker, and he's debating on if he should take pictures of this. So he gives J. Jonah Jameson a call. And yo, I gotta shout out J. Jonah Jameson. He says get all that you can on this whole ass nigga. He gets me more mad than Spider-Man. But during the phone call, a fight breaks out. But 12 pull up and gets it under control. Now we go over to the next day. There's a dude named Rick, and then there's a dude that's a triple pelagic. And I say triple because only his hand works. And that's low-key kind of concerning, but whatever. And if I ever talk about him again, I'm gonna call him Trip. And what Trip and Rick are doing is hunting. Trip spots the target and Rick shoots the target. And I'm not gonna lie, they really only can blend in for real. What is that supposed to do against a trained serial killer and a nigga with spider powers? And also another thing, these niggas are hunting? They literally have to hunt for food. I thought you were the superior race. Why don't it just fall from the sky? Anyways, after they finish hunting, they walk into the house and then they see Hartman tweaking, and he's saying the famous phrase, "They're taking me out of context." He then starts yapping about divine logic and shit. Then he goes to look at the sun, and from his perspective, he's looking at the angels, and they're giving him some type of divine insight. And notice how I said his perspective, because from the outside looking in, no one else can see this shit. Now we pan over back to Punisher, and he's reading about Hartman's bitch ass in the paper. So he tells Micro to look him up right quick. They then find out he has a list of names in his database, and these are the names of the people that fought him at the rally that he was having. Micro tries to call the people that's being targeted, but then they say get the fuck off my phone with that bullshit. But as he calling Punisher already on the way, then it pans over to Spider-Man, and this is during the time Spider-Man was actually happy. But I digress. He gets dressed so he can go over to the Daily Bugle and turn in the photos. But on the way there, his spider senses start tingling. He sees Punisher, and then he hops around the back. And yo, I am so happy he does not start an unnecessary ass fight. Now, after he goes to the back, he sees a group of white dudes with guns and instantly gets to scrapping. The camera then moves inside the house. Punisher shoots one dude. The black man hits somebody upside the head. Punisher is getting shot at, but luckily a bullet sponge behind him calls him a traitor, so he flips him in front of the bullets. Spider-Man kicks one dude, he punches another dude, jumps through the window and kicks a ball bitch, in turn saving Punisher, and then he interrogates the last guy. And because Spider-Man does not kill, he tells Punisher we're not doing lethal force right now. And yo, I'm so glad that they have like a mutual respect for each other, and they don't start like no unnecessary ass fight, even though they deal with crime in 2 completely different ways. But I ain't gonna lie, in this particular situation, I would not be mad if Spider-Man snaps some necks. Like bro, just look at who they repping. Anyways, after Spider-Man webs up the last guy that ran away, Spider-Man's spider sense just starts going off. So he hops over to the nearby vehicle, and Trip and Rick are just blending in. And like I said before, this is all that they're good for. If Spider-Man really know who they were, they would have been done for. But anyway, Spider-Man regroups with Punisher inside the battle van. And now they're on the way to the Daily Bugle. And on the way there, they get surrounded. And Punisher wants to blast through everybody, but Spider-Man is objecting to it. And Punisher like, nigga, we gotta take the gloves off. We have to find a way to get to the hostages as fast as possible. Then he says, easier or slow, fast or hard, Spider-Man, it is your call. And that leads us over to issue 2. And we start off with the supremacists taking control over the Daily Bugle. They murk the guards, and then they get a key card. And then they proceed to go throughout the building taking hostages. This leads us back over to Spider-Man and Punisher while they're surrounded. And Spider-Man has decided to do it his way. So Punisher turns on the pain-filled generators. First off, how do you have some shit like that? But this gives Spider-Man enough time to get out of the van. So Spider-Man incapacitates a enough people so they have a way through. Punisher says, yo, we could have been there minutes ago. And Spider-Man says, okay, nigga, I get it. And like I said, yo, I would not mind if Spider-Man broke his no-kill rule right now. Murk all of them. But after that, it switches over to the hostage situation. And right now, they're restraining J. Jonah Jameson. And Hartman says to him he doesn't want any more slander, any more ridicule. He wants to be able to spread his bullshit ass message with no complaints, no pushback, no nothing. And whoever agrees with it, and whoever doesn't are inferiors. JJ says, hell no, you a bitch. But then Hartman has one of his bitch ass people hold a knife to a lady's neck, causing JJ to eventually agree. And also, I do want to say they have Mary Jane hostage as well. Now, Hartman asks JJ, where is the last guard? JJ tells him, and then Hartman sends this situational dependent ass duo, and they kill the last guard. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the guard's fault. Nigga, I'm on security, I'm guarding the door, I'm paranoid the whole entire time. And you about to tell me you finna go out to Trip and Rick? Nigga, they have a crossbow. No blick in sight. Nigga, if I was that guard, if it was the last thing that I did on this earth, I'm up in pole on both. It's high noon, bitch. But I digress. Let's get back on top. Now it pans over back to the hostages. They're wishing for Spider-Man. Even JJ's hating ass is wishing for Spider-Man. But even after this, he's still gonna be hating, so it does not matter. But then it pans over to Hartman, and then it explains his whole entire backstory. And before we even hop into it, I just want to point out, he calls the Nazis Hitler's elite. Yo, get off they dick. Anyways, he's saying how World War II ended and Hitler committed nether sleep, but then he says this ideology did not die with him. Him and his sisters was raised by a Nazi faithful. You remember that nurse that I was talking about in the last issue? That's the same nurse that got away and smuggled him and his sisters through the Allied lines. They took them to South Africa and raised them up on Nazi ideals. And then thankfully, later she died. He didn't say thankfully, but I'm saying that. Then for several years, he had to pick up odd jobs to support him and his sisters. But then when he got back home, he could not find his sisters anywhere. And then he swore to keep looking for them until he found them. But then he hopped on a ship feeling like he wasn't going anywhere. And the ship was heading towards the US. He touched down in the US, but America only had more odd jobs. And then one faithful night, he sees the light. And he's thinking he's looking at angels right now. And they say, you were destined for something greater, son of Hitler. You will be the one to lift the world out of its dark age. America is a melting pot mixing inferior races and superior races. You will bring this message to the bitch ass masses. I mean the Aryan masses. And after he got that message, he gathered some like-minded dumbasses. These same dumbasses traded their worldly possessions to support the cause. And that explains why these dumbasses are hunting. Like, bro, this really remind me of that dumbass in Arkansas that got a group of like-minded dumbasses to get some land in Arkansas, start building their houses, and not even building their houses with any like carpenters, no brick masons, none of that shit. They're building the houses by watching YouTube and hunting and gathering their own food. And yo, they can do what they want to do. I really don't care, but that's what this reminds me of. I just don't like how they say they're not racist and then says it's a whites only town. That makes no fucking sense. That is an oxymoron. But anyway, that was a big ass digression. Let's get back on topic. Now it pans over to the cops trying to infiltrate the building through the roof, but then the helicopter gets shot down. Hartman says they probably not gonna try it again, but then he tells one of his henchmen to take a hostage, and then he gets a woman and throws her out of the window. Then we pan over to Spider-Man and Punisher, and before Punisher goes through the sewer, if you were smart, you'll start murking these motherfuckers. Now while Punisher is going through the sewer, Micro is telling Punisher about the external light that Hartman be seeing and how it's only triggered when he's alone. Now we go back over to Spider-Man. He's entering through the top. He finds Mary Jane, but he's trying to incapacitate everyone before the Punisher kills anyone. Then we pan over to Punisher and he's already catching hats. He stabs a dude, shoots another. They call reinforcements. Punisher pulls out a fucking RPG. Mind you, he's not going up against nothing crazy. He then incinerates that guy. They then shoot back at Punisher. They then go to flank him, but as they're going to flank, they're shooting at the hostages. The dumbass that shot the hostages used up all his ammo, so he sneaks up on Punisher after he shoots a bitch. So then Punisher gets snuck and then they get to scrapping, and Punisher takes his knife and stabs him with it. Punisher then takes the dude's phone and then talks to Hartman, saying he's the angel of death. This scares Hartman's bitch ass. Then he tells fucking Rick and Trip to go out and distribute the papers so that his bitch ass word gets out. Spider-Man then jumps through the window window, causing Hartman to take Mary Jane as a hostage. Spider-Man says, "I will murk you." Hartman then throws Mary Jane out of the window, saying Spider-Man can't be in two places at once. Spider-Man catches her. Hartman goes for the gun to shoot Spider-Man in the back. But as he does that, JJ comes in for the win with a spear. But then Hartman sees the light and apparently it was his sisters the entire time. They then say he's an unworthy bitch and then he screams out to them. Then it pans back over and Punisher's still in the lobby. He sees Rick and Trip. And remember how I said they are a situation dependent ass duo? You're gonna see why I said that in a minute. He recognizes both of them based off of the arrows that he's seeing coming out of Rick's pocket. He then confronts them, causing Trip to pull out a gun on Punisher. Punisher dodges and then Trip kills Rick. Punisher then puts 3 holes in Trip. And I know I'm not tripping. Why the fuck are Trip's arms moving? They weren't working this whole time. And Punisher doesn't even kill him. He like, yo, he's really crippled. I'm not even gonna execute him. But then as Punisher is leaving, he sees Spider-Man and Mary Jane embracing each other. Now, I don't know if this is an implication saying that Punisher knows who Spider-Man is just because it only shows like the silhouettes of both of them. But shit, it don't matter anyway. The comic over. But after this video, I really think I'm gonna head over to like DC Comics more, because I'm trying not to just oversaturate all the Marvel content, especially like the Punisher and Spider-Man content. I'm really just getting this shit out before Brand New Day comes out and before the Punisher special comes out. But by the time this video comes out, the Punisher special is probably already gonna be out anyway, so whatever. But that's the end of the video. If you made it this far, leave a cast emoji. Also, drink water and have a good one.
Cool bitch, this thing right beside me. I got drugs inside of my body. I'm so sorry, I'm tweaking off Molly. I got the same type of guns as the zombies. I got Lilo and Switch in Hawaii. High speed, they can't catch a Bugatti. My pockets big, they look like Chris Farley. I got switches with 3-wheel and Riley. I'm too geeked, I can't even blink. I'm so high, it's red in my drink. I'm dumb as hell for breaking the scene. Like you finna run off. I'm like, what do you think? Dirty pop, I sip bitch the pink. Fur coat life, I feel like fake mink. I'm in traffic, put on money reek. Don't open the door, shit like Monster Inc. I tap that switch, he going to hell. I catch, I'm going to jail.